Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another exciting Propagandacast with me, your host, Imperial Dane. And today I have for you, my wonderful viewers, a 1 versus 1 on Langres. Yes, indeed, we shall be fighting on Langres. Can't say anything more beyond that, because again, people don't seem to be quite fond of intros. Well, not long ones, and I will have already gone over this, perhaps not much to say on that account. But who shall be fighting? Well, here in the southern corner, we are seeing AsiiSkyland. Skyland apparently being a very high-level player. Though how high I can't exactly say at this moment, but certainly very good. And he is fighting for the British, the Commonwealth, the Union Jack, King George and T. And he is there with the 50th Infantry Division. Opposing him shall be HelpingHans. Yes, indeed, HelpingHans shall be landing a helping hand with supplying me with the casts, it seems. Fighting as the 1st SS Panzer Division, Leibstandarte. Fighting for the Reich and all that. Of course, we'll have to see how this will work out. Let's in fact get right down to it. Have fun. Good show there. Bren carrier rather immediately on the way and then packing up the truck. That's a bit more of an unusual start from the Brits. Usually you don't see a Bren carrier that early. You usually see a lieutenant. You usually see perhaps an infantry section, but not a Bren carrier. I must admit that's a bit novel. Well, you see it, but that's only in 2 versus 2s. Wehrmacht quarters though going up. HelpingHans working hard with the pioneers to get it up. A third pioneer team up, of course, get a greater advantage in seizing territory from the Brits. So, of course, he can seize much more. But, of course, at the same time, he's not going for the pioneer spam. A bit of chatting going on there, discussing where they're from. And there we go, Bren carrier on the move. Also known as the Universal Carrier. And, well, there was a bunch of other names. They in fact had several carriers. They had some larger ones to pull larger stuff like anti-tank guns and artillery, for example. And looks like the Bren carrier is moving out to do a bit of early harassment, a bit like that Jeep in the last game. It's a vehicle of disruption in this case, armed with a Bren gun and slightly armored. It's certainly going to be quite a potent tool of disruption in Axis lines. Pioneers are apparently hearing it and running to safety inside the building. Of course, they won't be able to seize any territory. And of course, in this case, having 3 pioneer teams out is certainly going to be a slight advantage. And infantry, Bren carrier on the hunt. Schwimmwagen, though, is out. That's certainly going to help a bit. Pioneers and reconnaissance chaps rather awfully close here. And of course, the rule of where the reconnaissance section goes first is where the headquarters will be. And in this case, the high munitions point. I mean, that's why Brits love the southern Langres. Plus, there's a few other bits which will surely appear, and then I can show you, which all relate to sort of this very nice piece of bocage right there. Schwimmwagen driving off the Bren carrier with only light damage to the Bren carrier, whereas the Schwimmwagen has apparently taken none at all so far. And another infantry section on the way. We'll have to see how this works out. So what do you think? LOL. Yes, indeed, LOL. Except I'm not laughing out loud now, am I, you tit? I mean, Mr. Skyland. And yes, indeed, but of course he's HelpingHans is probably thinking that Mr. AsiiSkyland is a smurf. He probably is, because if Skyland is around, I mean, HelpingHans is around the 14, 15, depending on what armies. So, I mean, it's pretty rare to see a bona fide level, very low level player up there. It's certainly going to have to be some case if there's absolutely no other players to play against sort of situation. So those are pretty rare. Schwimmwagen getting shot up by the infantry section and the Bren gunner full Scania team holding the line. Lieutenant now on the way. Brits seizing as much territory as they can, of course, having succeeded in disrupting Wehrmacht. Capturing protocols. Another unit coming out of the Wehrmacht quarters for HelpingHans. The Bren carrier still on the move. Cheeky little bastard. And of course moving about harassing German troops as they try to seize territory for the fatherland. And looks like an MG42 is on the way out of the Wehrmacht quarters. Schwimmwagen getting repaired by some pioneers. Other pioneers moving towards the east, perhaps to secure some fuel. And Bren guns on the way pretty quickly. Of course, again, that's possible because, again, the high munitions point is being secured by the headquarters command truck. So, of course, we're probably going to see a rather infantry-heavy strategy from Skyland. Possibly also mine-heavy and, depending on doctrine, artillery-heavy. Bren carrier firing away. Volkswagen is now with MG42 and Schwimmwagen support. Also doing their best. Not quite looking as the first SS, of course. They probably could just be Ostbataillon troops fighting in the first part with a bit of reconnaissance therefrom. In form of that Schwimmwagen, waiting for the actual SS to arrive. Let's just imagine that. And Bren gunners getting inside the Bren carrier, thus becoming the Bren in Bren. Bit of a strategy some Brits have. A lot of Bren firepower, of course. Light machine guns that can fire on the move, unlike, you know, British troops moving around on foot, which makes them particularly nasty. Plus, of course, there's that Bren on the front, so that, of course, is 3 Bren guns, which becomes quite the little vehicle of Bren death. And Brits moving in for flanking move. One thing to note, though, thankfully, after a patch they can't repair while troops are inside. Pioneer team cut down while trying to repair the Schwimmwagen. It looks like things are falling apart. The Bren carrier of doom advances. Bren death everywhere now, getting out, evacuating it. Probably for some repairs since the engine is damaged.
The sector is being overrun.
Controlled retreat, partially at least, to sort of ensure things don't turn into a complete rout and the Schwimmwagen can't get back to safety. Good move. Well, these Volkswagens will have to retreat sometime soon as well, unless they want to get completely outgunned. There's now the Bren gunners joining in, continually pulling back to the next piece of heavy cover, and they're probably going to run out of it soon. Infantry section on the march. MG42 ready again. Volkswagen is getting reinforced at the Wehrmacht quarters. Schwimmwagen getting repaired. No doctrine as of yet from AsiiSkyland. Bren carrier advancing once more, tearing up the Volkswagen, and now we're seeing a sniper out from HelpingHans. That's interesting. Rather heavy focus on the first tier. Not what you usually see from most Wehrmacht commanders. I'm not going to say it's bad, but at the same time, of course, we already are seeing a support truck on the way from the Brits. Of course, the escorts have gone quite a bit heavy on infantry, so that could certainly also help. But there's probably going to be a Stuart light tank sometime soon then again. This could certainly work out. Keep up the pressure on the Brits with the MGs and the sniper. Keep up the rate of attrition, which of course is something the Brits is having a bit harder time, of course, dealing with, of course, since the infantry is hard to reinforce, and of course if you lose an entire infantry section, it's going to get very expensive. Sniper being discovered by the Bren carrier with the Bren gunners in it, forced to retreat, though having a bit of trouble. Lots of fire being directed at the Bren carrier, no Panzerfaust it seems. Skirmish phase not ready. Oh wait, there we go. And apparently a misfire. That was tragic. Could have knocked out that Bren carrier in one fell kaboom. But currently the British are pushing onwards very brutally towards HelpingHans and the 1st SS, with the support of some Ostbataillon, I suppose. German troops getting torn apart. Although in terms of the Ostbataillon, that would be Russian troops. Nonetheless, MG42 firing up on the Bren gunners. Volkswagen is getting in fuel. Schwimmwagen moving in to once more perhaps do something against the Bren carrier, which has once more been repaired. That's quite a few munitions, but then again, a good Bren carrier is certainly worth all that munitions. And again, Skyland isn't really lacking it. That munitions point is again rather heavily supplying him with a lot of munitions. It's giving him a pretty damn easy time in that regard. So of course he can afford to constantly repair that Bren carrier no matter how damaged it gets. So certainly a good move there in terms of strategy. And of course, oh dear, that goes one infantry section chapped down, forced retreat. Schwimmwagen are getting quite a bit shot up by all those Bren guns, fighting away madly from the Bren carrier. Lieutenant sneaking about in the east, and we are seeing a bit of sandbags again to sort of secure a point while taking it, so you aren't so likely to get shot up while taking it. Blitz sort of hanging about here. Captain on the way. Captain dashing perhaps. Krieg barracks going up, so we might be seeing a Pat 38. Probably perhaps around the same time as the Stuart light tank could appear. Of course that is if HelpingHans goes for the Pack 38, which certainly would be a good idea considering... Oh dear, sounds like someone hit a mine. The reconnaissance section apparently doesn't seem to have much luck today. Either getting shot up or running into mines. Bren carrier getting fired upon. And making a run back towards British lines once more. And here we go. Another reasons why Brit loves the southern position on Langres, not just a munitions point right there. But due to this blockade, you can rather safely place a mortar pit right there. And of course, if they want to deal it, they have to stick their head right into the hornet's nest that is round here or here. And since there's a headquarters command truck, there's usually also going to be quite a few Brits right there, which of course means an awful lot of damage being directed against you. Which can reinforce, meaning you have to fight a very dangerous and probably losing battle to just get that mortar emplacements. That of course is a very nasty advantage of the southern position on Langres. Panzerfaust going on the Bren carrier, and it's finally down. Ding dong, the Bren carrier beast is dead. Volksgrenadiers running away. Now we are seeing rifle grenades as well, increasing the firepower for the British troops. Hiding behind now their wrecked Bren carrier, perhaps mourning the loss of it, or perhaps their buddies in it. And it is time to go have a look at HelpingHans. Still no doctrine from here. From HelpingHans, not either. British troops running straight into the MG42, which is a bit out in the open. One good shot from the rifle grenades could do some terrible damage. Snipers opening up, and thus the whole thing collapses. Leaving behind only the reconnaissance section. Mortar team now on the way from the Creek barracks. Of course, he's probably not aware that there's a mortar pit up for Skyland. And the 50th Infantry Division hiding in there nicely in their pit, though probably not without any tea in it. Trias, no casualty clearing station going up. Of course, can act with as a Trias set again with munitions, and again, Skyland's not lacking in that. In fact, he's taken up position at another munitions point, so again, he's got something that is involving quite a few munitions. It probably could involve some sort of doctrine choice as well. And of course, he's using sappers to lay down mines. Of course, that also seems to, again, confirm the theory that he's a high-level player, because most British players actually don't use the sappers for mines. They'll usually complain, oh wait, we don't have something to do with all these munitions. Man, it's not like I have a unit that can lay down mines now, is it? No. No siree, Bob. But nonetheless, hiding around here, getting healed up. Mortar firing away. Volksgrenadiers rather hearing that thump and crump. Volksgrenadiers going down to the sappers, and one thing to note about sappers, they're actually pretty decent infantry. In fact, they're about the same in terms of how much damage and how accurate they are. They're in fact on the level with an infantry section. Only difference, of course, they're not 5 men, and they can't get any sort of direct upgrades like the infantry section, but otherwise they can fight like one. So you can actually use them to sort of prop up your lines and fight with them. Much better than, say, pioneers. Volksgrenadiers not looking too happy. Bunker going up, medic bunker on the way for HelpingHans. Anti-helpful SS, well, not quite. And he has gone terror, relying on propaganda and all the nasty bits to find onwards against the dastardly Britisher. Several MG sniper opening up on right grenadiers. Volksgrenadiers holding the line. Mortar rounds flying onto the British positions. Recon section moving in, hoping to perhaps catch that sniper. Good move right there. British troops getting hit by mortar fire and taking heavy losses. And what is the lieutenant doing? He's running forwards, awfully close to a mine. And he died just as you're calling in artillery. Which of course means he's probably gone for artillery, yes indeed. And yes, as the lieutenant dies, your artillery will actually get cancelled. It's a bit of a bug, I'm afraid. Although I do believe it's 125 munitions, though I might be wrong. But then again, I mean we can compare to the Wehrmacht's officer artillery, which costs also 150 munitions, or at least I know that costs 150 munitions. Requires tier 4, that is the battle phase. And it's much more delayed, and it's only mortar rounds. So I mean, that's more of a joke, but you know. But I can still understand his frustration, but at the same time, I mean, Wehrmacht commanders have it worse, I'd say, on many grounds. Still Lieutenant dead. Infantry is once more hanging about here. The casualty station. Medics moving out to pick up the wounded to the left after the mortar rounds did some terrible things to them. 7 kills. Good move right there. Mortars are a great weapon and should never be underestimated. Mines being laid down by both sides. Very good. Volkswagen is advancing. No further infantry though from Mr. HelpingHans. Lots of MG42s it seems, but not an awful lot of infantry to really push things onwards. No Grenadiere. Krieg. Kampfkraft Center is up though, but no upgrades as of yet. Recon section spotting mines. They can do that, but they have to stand still though. Very important bit that. Of course we are seeing artillery right here, so perhaps he's already gotten supercharged rounds for his mortar, which is very nasty. Still a light tank hanging back, covering the sappers as they advance through German territory. Courses of the Jerry. Volksgrenadiers and Sturmarmy up. And Veteran 1 for infantry on the way as well. A bit of quiet right at this moment. MG42 covering this area, ensuring no flanks going through there. Not an awful lot going on. Mines everywhere from HelpingHans. Steward on the prowl, sending those Volksgrenadiers running back. Pack 38 though on the move. Volksgrenadier down. Will the Pack 38 be able to fire off a shot? There we go. Rear hit. And that's about it. Then the Steward makes it out of there safely. No further kills to the Volksgrenadiers. Mines being laid down by HelpingHans. Quite a few munitions being stockpiled by him as well, though probably not as much as the British commander. Let's just go look. 166, and that's already after having spent 150 munitions. Again, he's not going to be lacking in munitions at all. Nebelwerfer on the way though to bombard the British positions. That's certainly a good tool. A bit of veterancy can also help, in particular as you reach, I believe, veterancy 3, it actually gets increased damage, which of course makes it even better digging out any dug-in opponents. Infantry section, reconnaissance chaps coming under fire from the MG42, blasting away across open ground. Germans using back what they can. Pack 38 advancing, though at the same time it's rather leaving the center of his position open. Then again, he's probably hoping that Skyland doesn't know that. Volksgrenadiers is coming under heavy fire rifle grenades, flying over the hedges. Again, rifle grenades are sort of a parabolic weapon, like the Piat and grenades and such. They can fire over such obstacles. So that makes it even harder for the Volksgrenadiers to take this point, besides just the mortar. And now we are seeing a 25-pounder gun going up for the British. That's certainly going to prove quite nasty. Nebelwerfer hits and knocks out all the mines there. Good show. Besides that, doesn't do an awful lot of damage. Slight damage to the casualty station, and apparently damaging the engine on the truck. Schwimbag moving about. A second Nebelwerfer on the way. Has to be carefully moving them about, otherwise they can't get counter-artillery by the howitzer. And of course that would be an excellent move. Of course, will he do it? No, he's going straight for the medic bunker. Not a bad idea either, though. Sniper moving about. Not firing away. I can certainly imagine what he's planning with him. The thing here to note, and I'll just briefly pause as I do believe it's also time for the mid-game analysis, but let's just quickly get about this. Artillery, and more particularly on-map artillery, is sort of specified in accuracy, or at least scatter on two terms. Partly one is how far it is away from the target, and secondly, if you can actually see the target. I mean, the more knowledge you have about the target, that is, if you can see it, the more accurate your artillery will be. So for example, in this case, the Nebelwerfer is going to be a lot more accurate than, say, firing into here. So those are important things to note. And of course, as for the mid-game analysis, well, things are looking a bit grim for HelpingHans, now coming under quite a bit of artillery fire. British constantly keeping under pressure, although he's at the same time doing a decent job at keeping them at bay. Although now the 25-pounder gun is going to make things a lot more terrible for him. At the same time, he doesn't quite have the infantry to really push through himself. Only 2 Volksgrenadier teams, no grenadiers, no anything else, which certainly could have helped him. No Stug or heavy armored cars either. Although at the same time, Mr. Skyland isn't really having that much armor. He has some sappers, some infantry sections, and the Stuart, but otherwise he does have a few emplacements as well. And he's sort of hoping perhaps to just sort of blast his opponent down with artillery and then move in. So of course the question is, how will that work, and what will HelpingHans do? Although certainly keeping running around corners with Skyland would certainly be a good idea. But let us return to the fight. And certainly seems like a naval barrage will be going in right here where all the British infantry is hiding. Lots of sappers, in fact. You'll probably see lots of Piats for those very soon. And there we go, hitting. And as you might have noticed, they're a lot more accurate now, again due to the sniper being right nearby, allowing line of sight. So that is a very important thing again to note with artillery of the all-map kind. If you can actually see what the devil is going on, they're going to be a lot more accurate than if you can't. So there we go. Second MG42 hiding inside there. Volksgrenadier is hoping to do something, but apparently being run off by the reconnaissance section. Stuart's light tank now on the way as well. Volksgrenadier is going down, quite a few sappers advancing as well. And the Stuart apparently pulling away again, or just moving towards it to deal with the harassers. But interestingly enough, he's being very timid with the Stuart, despite only there being one Pak 38, but again, he doesn't know there's only one Pak 38. MG42 getting out, setting up a slightly more advanced position. Volksgrenadier is getting torn apart. MG42 being perilously out in the open though. And artillery, there we go, officer artillery, and there we go. One hit down in seconds. Plus some other bits. And that's officer artillery for you, for the British, for the Wehrmacht. Of course, that would have taken a lot of time, longer to actually even a single mortar round to hit, and it wouldn't have done as much damage. So yeah, guess who's got the better deal? Damn it. First gun is getting reinforced. British troops getting hit and stopped by the Nebelwerfers as a sapper assault seems to have been moving in. That was very close, and now a Panzer command is up. The first SS now really lending their strength to the fight, it seems. Mortar rounds landing there. Yes, indeed, HelpingHans mortar is still alive. Oh dear, be careful about being too close to the medic bunker. That is a priority target, and your Nebelwerfers are certainly also one.
Our base is under attack.
Mines hit by Skyland. And this area getting bombarded? I'm not entirely sure what he's up to. My best suggestion might be that he's actually hoping to punch a hole in the bocage and then sneak in his army. That would certainly be a very clever move. But he doesn't seem to be doing it, is he? MG42 firing out on the Sams that got a bit too close. But still, he could be moving through there with Piats and then do some terrible damage to HelpingHans base. Artillery going down, officer artillery, and there we go again. First shot, very vicious right away. Another MG42 lost. Skyland certainly did lose a bit of munitions right there. Still though, I wish Wehrmacht artillery was at least that fast, considering it's just simple mortar rounds. I mean, come on. Looks like this Nebelwerfer though was knocked out. That could actually have been his target, but I didn't notice it, interestingly enough. Very good camouflage then. Saber's getting... And a Piat round knocks it out. Perhaps he's not quite aware that there's actually a hole in the defenses right there, a big gap. Volksgrenadier is moving out. British moving through the center. In fact, looks like HelpingHans is under quite a bit of pressure from the British. MG42s are gone, thus allowing the British to just charge ahead. And lieutenants to keep both assaults moving, of course, meaning they can't just be propaganda ward away. Panzerkampfwagen 4 on the way. Will be perhaps the only hope for the first SS Panzer Division Leibstandarte. And artillery firing away. Nebelwerfer's howling. And looks like some pioneers were knocked out. And there we go, Panzer 4 ready, and then he gets hit by a howitzer round, not good. Stuart though awfully damaged. Panzer 4 advances. Takes a few Piat rounds. Grenadiers ready from the medic bunker, about damn time. Getting Panzerix, but it's time to look at Skyland, who has quite a bit of manpower ready, but he's calling an armor command truck, so he's probably hoping for some... Well, that was fun. But he's hoping to call in some armor, perhaps to keep the pressure up on HelpingHans. He's certainly doing quite well with that artillery and that sapper assault from the west. Wehrmacht quarters down. A mine hit, my goodness. He actually laid down a mine right next to HelpingHans. Strategic point, sneaky that. Sappers running away from the Grenadieren with the Panzerschrecks. Some proper SS Panzer Grenadiers, I suppose. Moon is still being pulled back into the casualty station though for Skyland. And there we go, armor command truck is ready. Grenadiers are on the move, dodging Piat rounds left and right. They are men with a purpose, a mission, and probably a V1 rocket on their call. Yes, indeed, they're moving towards that 25-pounder gun. And I think I can guarantee that's going to be a V1 target. There we go. The bus, the droning of the V1 rocket. The V actually standing for vengeance. And there we go. 25-pounder gun is no more. It is a wreckage. Panzer 4 getting repaired. Could be another one is on the way though. Yes indeed, looks like it. Or he's getting Knights Cross holders perhaps.
Just received access to
and a priest getting called in. No, that was actually the American self-propelled piece. The British had the bishop, was it, or was it the something else? Oh, I can't remember. No, it was a sexton. That was basically the same thing, except it had a 25-pounder gun. This is with the 105mm howitzer. Looks like the Nebelwerfer is coming under fire again, using his artillery to counter battery the Germans. Not a bad idea. Nebelwerfer on the run, apparently using the road to get out of there. Looks like it will. Panzer 4 also moving away. A few Panzer 4s, it looks like, ready to show those Brits what's it all about. Several Sappers now with Piats. Probably won't be seeing any artillery right away from Mr. Skyland anytime soon. Still, he did quite a bit of damage with those officer artillery barrages. Though I still wish the officer barrage of the Wehrmacht Lieutenant could be as swift. I mean, I'm not even asking for, you know, the mortars to change, but could at least be as fast and be as accessible, and perhaps a bit cheaper. Infantry chaps moving about. And recon section being fired down by the Grenadiers, and the Volksgrenadiers taking losses. Interesting enough, though, there's been no heavier losses. In fact, quite 5 infantry teams to those sappers. Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers running straight into that. Bren gun and rifle grenades. Oh dear, Volksgrenadiers running into the building, or well, what remains of it.
Enemy unit has been knocked out.
Oh dear, that was the Schwimmwagen finally going up in flames. I suppose there could have been spot for more Volksgrenadiers right there, but wait, there we go. And that, of course, is one thing to note. As buildings get damaged, they can usually actually have more troops firing on buildings and such on sides of them, depending on how much damage there's been done. So that, of course, is another feature of company heroes. They don't see that as much. Sappers advancing, coming under fire from the Panzer 4, though Panzer 4 though coming under fire. Volksgrenadiers ensuring that the Sappers though are flanked. Sappers also quite a bit of fire there, and some bit fighting here in the center. Artillery going in on the German positions. 2nd Panzer 4 on the prowl.
German target has been destroyed.
And another German target has been destroyed. What was that though, I wonder? Reporting target is Snafu, it seems. Probably the medics though. No idea what got lost for the Germans though. Could have been a Nebelwerfer. The mortar, though, is actually still alive. Good heavens. Fighting right here in the center west. Panzer IV once more trying to advance, but stopped by the sappers with the Piats. Making things a bit harder for that Panzer IV to advance. Quite damaged, in fact. Both are, in fact. Need sappers right away. British advancing through here. German positions for HelpingHans not looking too good. A mine hit, though. Volksgrenadiers and Grenadiers getting ready to counterattack. Nebelwerfer getting recruited. And then artillery getting called in again. Oh dear, oh dear. But this time apparently it survives the officer barrage. No, it doesn't. Oh dear. Sappers moving towards the center. Medic bunker taking heavy damage. A few Piat rounds and that's going to be gone. Yes, indeed. Panzer Force moving in to deal with this British threat, or is it? Volksgrenadier is getting torn apart. Now a Cromwell tank is on the move. My goodness. Mortar rounds though flying against the bridge. Ostwind Flak Panzer now moving in from the north. Panzer IV moving in through the west center. Oh dear, Bren gunner caught out in the open. Lieutenant dead. The Ostwind got him. Another Panzer IV on the move, while the other one is moving into the British base to do a bit of work right there. British pulling back towards the base. Though that Panzer IV could be lost. Sappers are moving in with a vengeance.
Divisions are down to 200 points.
Britain's getting shot up. Oh dear. Ostwind moving in. Veterans, you want for the armor. That's a good choice as always. Gives decreased damage. Cromwell in need of repairs though. And a Firefly I think to support it. Staghound moving in quickly. No command tanks though. And the priest fires away. Preaching its gospel of British doom. All 3 victory points are in the hands of the Brits. Things are certainly looking rather desperate for HelpingHans, though he can still turn it around. He still has a nice selection of units.
Our supply lines are being threatened.
And certainly those panzers are quite helpful. Although trenches are now being dug in a desperate attempt to hold what is left, since the British have, well, taken quite a beating as well in the process. But still not as bad as the Germans. Then again, they don't quite have as many panzers. And a Cromwell is certainly not a good panzer. British troops advancing. Could get grenaded though, if the Grenadiers bother. There we go, one panzer shreked. Volksgrenadiers moving in to support the Grenadiers.
German forces are trying
And Staghound on the move. Gets panzer shreked. Dual panzer in fact on that Grenadier team. But the Staghound is not stopped. It carries onwards with its grim duty, slaughtering HelpingHans. Unfortunate infantry. German panzers getting constantly repaired, though seem to be moving about. Not entirely sure with what purpose though. More veterancy on the way from the Kampfkraft Center though. Hack 38 also moving in, perhaps hoping to stop that Staghound, but of course SkyLand being quick to get it back. Cromwell getting repaired. No Firefly on the way. Ostwind moving in, apparently a second Ostwind from the west. Will the Panzer IV move in to support? British infantry in the base getting shot up. And there we go, slight trick right there, of course, to get your troops out safely. Pack it up, then retreat. They will move back to the entry point of any other unit on the map. Now packing up again to immediately secure the munitions, but at the same time though it's taking quite a bit of damage. I doubt it will survive it. Cromwell moving in, but it's not quite close enough to do anything about it. And of course now another command truck has to be called in. And German panzers are on the move. Firing away at all the Brits have. Oh dearie me. Second prong of the panzer assault from the 1st SS moving in from the south. First one pulling away from the sappers, while the other one advances. Mortar pit is no more. Veterancy 2 for the panzers. Staghound getting shot up. Ostwind though taking quite a bit of damage from the Cromwell. And the, oh dear, the priest is going to get knocked out by the German armored forces. Looks like the stag hunt was in fact finished. And what's happening with all that skirmish, this is what he's saying, and that's basically, again, that's what it says when I'm watching a replay, which of course I have to do to watch a cast, and of course I can't cast a cast, but I can't actually respond whilst saying so, so again note that. Cromwell moving in, pouncing on the Ostwind, of course it has to be careful with that Panzer IV. Sabas moving in. A B-1 rocket on the move. Ostwind is out of control. Panzer IV needs to get out of there before it gets covered in Piat rounds. And a B-1 rocket right on the entry point, killing quite a few sappers. Sneaky that. Very sneaky. Buttoning up the Panzer IV, exposing the rear. Nothing from the armored command track though. And flank that panzer, never attack German panzers from the front. My dear Skyland, never do that. Again, flank, flank, flank. Never attack the panzer from the front. Now pulling away. Firefly on the move. Panzer attacking from the north. German panzer march is unstoppable.
We have a secured sector under attack.
Center being cleared out, although the infantry section in there is still holding out most tenaciously.
Just lost a Cromwell.
Cromwell is lost. And the Panzer force just keep killing.
Reporting they have destroyed a German target.
Artillery getting called in on the trench, it seems like. My goodness, Firefly though is soon ready. Ostwind causing havoc amongst the remaining British troops. Everything has collapsed after that Panzer assault. Chaos, it seems, is in the ranks of the 50th Infantry Division, being supported by the 4th Armoured Brigade. Firefly moving in. And missing, that was quite unfortunate. But he can't get that Ostwind knocked out. There we go, rear hit. Still holding out in that trench. Although rather desperately. And a Königstiger has been called in. Although I think that might be a bit late for it to do anything still. Nice to see. Do we lose time to have a look at HelpingHans actually? My apologies. King Tiger on the move, on the prowl. Sappers now hiding in the trench. Grenades going into it. Doing quite a bit of damage, yes indeed. And now the Firefly is under fire. Panzer Shreks knocking out the main gun, oh dear. And the Pat 38 finishing off the job. And Skyland going GG. Sappers killed. Apparently complaining about his win-loss ratio. And field support truck getting knocked out. Skyland. And there we go. I'd certainly say that is the end for the Brits. Certainly looked well for them for the most of the fight, but then HelpingHans turn things around. Well, when does this end? Should be soon. Well, let's just admire this view, and there we go. Game over. Skyland and the 50th Infantry Division has been forced back by the 1st SS, pulling off a successful assault with all of their panzers. And of course, what can we learn from this? Well, I think the main problem for Skyland utterly collapsing was the lack of anti-tank assets. Yes, he had Piats, but those are more for close support, for close quarters fighting, not, you know, long range fighting where the Panzer force and the Austrians can excel. There was a lack of 17-pounder guns, I certainly note. Although then again, with the Terror and the V1 rockets, of course, it was easier for HelpingHans to actually dismantle the defenses of our British opponent. Certainly that was a good choice in that regard. Of course, had our British opponent been much heavier blobber, though, things could have looked different. But still, nice move and choice in doctrine right there. And I'd certainly applaud that. I mean, we saw some good casualty clearing station and medic bunkers, though at the same time they neither really got anything out of it. Interestingly enough, good usage of mortars, of mines, in fact, rather aggressive and very aggressive use of artillery, which of course was combined with that rather munitions-heavy strategy right there from Skyland, which was certainly interesting to see. A very aggressive use of a disruptive Bren carrier right in the beginning. Also very nice to see, but in the end, though, it sort of faltered because, again, he wasn't quite prepared for the armored onslaught that was to come, and that sort of became his end. So again, you should always pretty much be prepared for some sort of armored assault from your opponent. If you don't see it at some point, it's going to come eventually if he knows what he's doing. And in that case, he did. In which case, of course, things collapsed for Skyland as the German panzers advanced. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, why not subscribe and tell your friends? And if you didn't, well, why not send in a replay of your own? This is Imperial Dane saying cheers.